Hey guys, it's Jessica. Today we're gonna try another Supermodel's beauty routine. So I've done 2 of these videos in the past. I will link in the eye and down below if you're curious. One on Zendaya and some really interesting kind of out there beauty tips that actually worked, and it was like with really cheap stuff from the drugstore like Aquaphor. So I will link that video below. That one was so much fun and I actually learned a lot. And then the last one I did was Candace Swanepoel. I did her routine and again also learned a few things that I'm still doing. So this one is Emily Ratajkowski. She did a 5-minute date night look on YouTube. I will link the video down below if you're curious to see her version and then my version of me puttering through it. No. So I've collected a bunch of items. I decided to do this drugstore edition for a few reasons. A, we can all save money. B, honestly, as I was watching it, I had a lot of the products she was using, but I thought, frankly, the look she was doing was so simple, and of course she's so gorgeous, like she was pretty at the beginning with no makeup on, so I thought the reality is a lot of those products are easily dupable and I have a lot of them already. I only went out and purchased a few things because I wanted this to be a video where I could use products I already have just to show you what do her tips look like on a normal person. That's not a supermodel. Not that she's not normal, but you guys know what I'm saying. And I thought it was fun. She said that her husband calls the way she does her makeup finger painting, so I'm kind of treating that as the method she uses because I think she uses a brush twice. Like that's it. So everything else is with her fingers, which I'm totally in for. Future Jessie here popping in to say, if you were interested in any of my collection that I designed, the hat, the shirt, the mug, I'm so proud of, but we've had so many requests to extend it through the weekend, so we've decided to extend it for 48 more hours, so you have till Sunday to check it out. If you're interested, now's the time. I will have the link down in the description box. Thank you guys so much for making this like dream a reality, and it has been so cool. And if you end up buying any of them, please take pictures of them, tag me in them on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever you're on. I'd love to see them and I might even share them. Okay, let's get back into the rest of the video. Okay, so the first thing that she does is she pulls out the Charlotte Tilbury foundation, and I personally think that this Flower Beauty Light Illusion foundation is a dupe for that. I've compared them a lot. I find myself, I think I got rid of the Charlotte Tilbury one finally, now that I'm thinking about it, because I couldn't find it and I thought, did I? I think I did because I liked the Flower Beauty one better. So I have the shade Porcelain one, and what she did is she got a little bit and she said she just likes to put it on her face with her fingers. She said she just feels like the fingers offer a lot more of a seamless look that you can't get with a brush. And I will say this, I've really gotten into putting on my foundation with my fingers. And I've also I still love primer and I still use it, but a lot of days I just skip primer. And you know, there were decades where people put on makeup without primer. It really is a newer thing. And I feel like I'd grown to be a slave to primer. And I do like them. Like I love glowy primers. I like some pore filling ones, like the Revlon one I've been using a lot lately. But on days that I'm getting ready quickly, it's just so easy to just use your fingers with no primer. But again, always SPF. I do have SPF on. I use the CeraVe Ultralight SPF 30. I'm like mesmerized when I watch people put on makeup with their fingers. All right, we had to headband it because that was ridiculous to try to put on without my hair back. I don't know who I was trying to be. I was trying to be her because she's like, I don't need a headband. Well, I'm a mess and I definitely needed a headband. The next thing she did was she grabbed, actually this is a drugstore product she was using, the Maybelline Great Lash. I had to buy this. I think I owned this when I was like in middle school, and it was weird buying it again. I can't explain it, but it was also kind of like, oh, I don't even remember how I used it, but look, I want to show you something. She just brushes through her brows, but keep in mind her brows as they are like flawless. So she just brushed through them. Mine are so much lighter. I can't go on with my day without. Brows are one of those things that if I could do like one thing before I leave the door, it's probably gonna be to do my brows. So I'm actually gonna wipe this off. I just wanted to show you, you know, it kind of brushes your brows in place. We're still gonna use it, but I'm gonna go ahead and actually put on a brow pencil, even though she didn't need to. Your girl needs to. Okay. This is the Maybelline Brow Ultra Slim I've been playing with lately and enjoying. I have the shade Deep Brown, and I'm just gonna quickly kind of run that through my brows to give it some color, and then we'll go back in with the Great Lash. I wish I had brows that didn't need, and I keep toying with the idea of microblading and tinting, but frankly, all of it scares me. So not that there's gonna be pain, it scares me because I'm like, what if it goes wrong? And I've heard from all of you guys when I've asked in the past, you're like, it's so great, it's the best decision I've ever made. And then the other half of you is like, no, I did it and it was awful, or my friend did it and it looked terrible. So it's like, it's so hit or miss depending on who you hire to do it, and you know, I don't know, just how all of that goes. And then I think the first thing I'll probably try is brow tinting. I know like there are other YouTubers that do it, And so I need to find a really good video on how to do it so that I don't screw it up. It's like self-tanning for me. I used to be scared of self-tanning. And then when I watched enough videos and just tried, I'm like, oh, it's actually not as scary as it seems. And now I can do it really comfortably, but it just takes time and practice. And I think that brow tinting at home is one of those things that it's gonna take time and practice. All right, so let's go back in with this and let's just see if it kind of holds my brows in place. I don't have wild, unruly brows. I think I would almost prefer to have had that. That would have been lovely. But she was talking about how she likes them to stick up. And I feel like that's one of those trends that people either love or hate. It just is what it is. I'm gonna kind of brush them down a little bit towards the latter half of the brow. Okay, so the next thing she did was highlight, and she used the Milk highlighter stick in Lit. I'm gonna use the Physicians Formula Dewy Highlighter in the shade Dew Frost. This is newer to me as well, but I'm enjoying it. And she literally took the stick and did it all the way down her nose, on her upper lip, and then kind of in this region here. And then she continues to finger paint. This is actually where she brought up that story, and just kind of blends it in a bit. I pretty rarely take a highlighter stick to the face, so that was intimidating to me. But I'm liking how, like, wow, glowy this skin is. And she doesn't do concealer for a little while longer, so that's also interesting to me. All right, so for blush, she uses the Nudestix blush. I think it's in the shade In the Nude. I'm grabbing the Colourpop blush stick in the shade Aloha. It looks like a very similar shade. I actually do have a Nudestix blush in a different shade, and I like it, but I think actually comparing this to that, this is a little bit easier to work with. So she just gets a little bit on her finger and puts it there, and she actually puts it pretty high up. And she remarks on how she, like, even when makeup artists are doing her makeup, she asks for more blush, and she likes it really, really high up. So it's almost going on top of the highlighter if you really think about where it's being placed, you know? I just feel like my face is a little bit, I like a dewy look, but I feel like I need a little bit more coverage. And one thing I will say between the Charlotte Tilbury foundation and like this Flower Beauty one is, I think the Flower Beauty one's a little bit more prone to like oiliness. So if you have oilier skin, you might not like the Flower Beauty one. The Charlotte Tilbury one's a little bit less dewy. But now, as I gave that whole big spiel about primer, I wish I'd put on a like more mattifying primer in my T-zone. So that's about what she did. It was kind of higher up and a lot of blush there. It looked beautiful on her. I forgot, she also took a little bit and literally put it like right in the middle of her nose. She said like that's where the sun would hit, and it's kind of a 90s trick of like looking like you got sun. I think that if you naturally have a redder nose, that might not be a good idea for you. Like me, I have a redder nose. She has the blush even higher up. We're going back in. She has it like all the way up here. Now, obviously she doesn't have the exact same face shape as me, but she just kept piling it on. So then she grabs the Charlotte Tilbury Filmstar Bronze and Glow, which I do like. I'm gonna use this Milani Silky Matte Bronzing Powder in Sunkissed, very similar shade to the one that I have from Charlotte Tilbury. She takes it and really focuses it underneath here. That's too much. So we're gonna get a little bit less. And then she does take some up here. This Milani bronzer is really good and it packs a punch, but it really, you have to have a light hand, and it's still newer to me, so I'm finagling with how to use it. It can definitely be a lot. I definitely look sunburnt. So she said after you've done the blush and stuff, she said she's pretty much done with the face, but you might layer in some concealer or foundation just to kind of cover where you need it. I'm like, good. So I grabbed the Revolution Conceal and Define. She doesn't say what concealer she's using, but it's a full coverage concealer, which I'm like, maybe that'll help a little bit. So she actually takes it on her fingers. Again, back to the finger painting. She puts a little bit here to kind of help with that area where you put blush. I will say I tend to always take my concealer and stick it on the face and then blend it, but this is kind of a nice way of controlling how much you're applying. And I feel like this is a tip I should carry over into my regular routine because, again, it's just a nice way to make sure you're not using too much. It's less likely to get crepey. And it still is covering, you know, it's not going to be crazy high coverage maybe, but I like that. Now I'm going to put a little bit on my nose, and I don't care who knows it because I get it. My dad would be so proud. And I'm gonna put a little bit in the middle of my forehead. I literally have not dipped this back in. I'm just continuing to just grab from that just to kind of, this is more full coverage and a little bit more of a matte finish. Not totally matte, but definitely, and look how much better it already looks. And I like this concealer. All right, so she had made like her own palette. It looked like it was in like a Morphe container, which was so interesting to me. She had made her own personal palette and she was using kind of a medium brown in her crease. And so that's what we're going to do. But I just grabbed this e.l.f. palette. There are some medium browns in here that I'm gonna use. I think I'm gonna use Darling here and just using kind of a windshield wiper motion. Oh, that might be too dark. She just said she kind of brings it out a little bit here. Now, obviously we have different eye shapes and amount of space on in our crease and on our lid, but that works. And this color is just like almost too pigmented for this. Really, I should use a fluffier brush. I was trying to use more of a brush like what she used, but I much prefer, because I do have a lot of space there, I have to be careful with super dense brushes on the eyes. I feel like you don't need this. I love this palette, really, but you could totally just use your bronzer. It was a very similar color. So she took the same color and did it on her lower lash line. Now, she said that she likes to bring it all the way to here. She said a lot of people like to highlight there. She said, I like to bring the darker color because she feels like it makes your eyes look bigger. I don't know if that's true or not, but we're gonna do it anyway. She doesn't use liner, which I was like, okay. I like to at least, even if it's with like a powder, but like a little bit of darkness there, but we're gonna do without it. So the next thing she does is she highlights the brow bone. She's using an Anastasia one. I'm gonna use, and this is actually my first time using this, the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Brow Razor. So it looks like there's more of like a matte one and a more highlighted one. I think she uses more, it's like more of a shimmer. So that's what we're gonna do. And just kind of, oh, that's nice. That blended, I always venture away from using products like this because I think, oh, it's gonna take a while to blend and then it'll look weird, but that blended in like 2 seconds. It was nice and creamy, but it still is staying there. Okay, L'Oreal, I'm gonna put you into my little vanity over there. But I do feel like when I do stuff like this, I need to like go back into my brows for just a second out there because it can kind of wipe away. So the mascara she uses is the Glossier Lash Slick. I'm gonna use one of my favorites. The Essence Volume Stylist is a brand spanking new one and I'm so pumped. I love this mascara. I discovered this a few months ago based on a YouTuber's recommendation. I think it was Casey Holmes, and wow, wow, wow. And I used to love the Essence Lash Princess, still love that. This one's better. I didn't think it was possible, but she just dives right in. I don't think she curled her lashes or separated them or anything. It's like $5 where you can find it. I know Ulta's sell it. If you're in the Midwest and you have a Meijer, they sell it. I've been recommending this to everyone I know. She does put a little bit on her lower lash line. Now her lashes are naturally black, so they're just like, she's putting on mascara. I'm like, why girl? Your lashes look great as they are. Now I don't know that this is a dupe for the Glossier Lash Slick. I've never used it and I would actually have to assume it's probably not because based on what I know of Glossier and what I've tried, it's very like low-key, not super obvious makeup. You guys can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong because I haven't tried it. So I'm totally basing it off of, you know, what I know of the brand. The one thing I love about this mascara, and mascaras like this, is if I wiggle it at the base enough, it kind of gives me that darkness that I use eyeliner for. So when I'm not wearing eyeliner, it is nice to have that. So the only non-drugstore product I'm gonna use is a lip liner. It's not that there aren't good lip liners, it's just that I don't have one. And frankly, I forgot to buy one. But this is MAC Dervish. I do really like this, and if you have similar pigment to your lips like me, it's a really good Your Lips But Better and slightly darker lip liner. But it is a wooden pencil. You do have to keep it sharpened. You kind of got to warm it up. It's not the creamiest thing in the world, but once you get it going, it's really nice. She was saying that she likes to put it just on the lip line and kind of smudge it a little bit. So I saw her kind of put it here and there and down there. And then she just kind of, dang. That worked. That looks nice. Why don't I do that more often? Especially there on the bottom. I didn't go far outside the line. It doesn't look weird in person at all. But it definitely, my lips look fuller. Ooh. But it's not like full on like you're gonna feel weird in person if it rubs off, because like I said, it's right on the lip line, so it's not super obvious at all. For lipstick, she uses Marc Jacobs in a shade called J'adore. I love Marc Jacobs lipsticks, I really do. I grabbed this Colourpop Velvet Blur lipstick and Mesmerize. It's a different color than what she's using, but I do actually like this formula. It's a little bit matte, but it's kind of blurring. It's just interesting. I wouldn't want to wear it every day, but I do like it. So she literally just goes, and then she just kind of zhuzhes it. It's kind of the perfect lipstick for that kind of a thing because it really is blurring. So then she goes in for lip gloss with this Pat McGrath Glitz Gold lip gloss. Now, I recently tried Pat McGrath lipsticks and I was like, okay, I get the hype. They're crazy good. I've not tried any of her lip glosses, but it looked similar to this. I'm sure the formula is different, but this is the Revlon Super Lustrous Gloss in the shade All That Glitters. She described the Pat McGrath one as one that just has this gorgeous sheen and it just looks gorgeous in photos, catches the light really nicely. So I'm hoping this does this too. We're gonna see. I'm hoping it doesn't come across as just straight up gold. Ooh. So then at the very end, she says, if I'm going out and like I'm wanting it to be a little bit deeper, she'll get a little bit of a darker color. So I'm gonna grab this shade Earth. And I'm even gonna tap even more off. And she said she just kind of goes in there just a little bit. So here's the final look. I definitely would like to powder, and I probably, when the video is done, I probably will just powder because I desperately need it, especially here and on my nose. All in all, I do like the way it looks. I like the simplicity of the eye look. It's really easy, but it definitely looks like I tried. But a couple of the tips I really liked. I like the simplicity of the eye look. Really, really simple. We didn't even put anything on the lid, and you could totally multitask by using your bronzer for that. You could use the highlighting stick you use for your brow bone. You didn't have to have a separate brow pencil highlighter, you know what I mean? I'm kind of interested in this idea of higher blush. I know that's kind of becoming trendy right now. I'm definitely down for trying it out a little bit and seeing how it goes, like with my facial structure, but I'm kind of interested to try it with a powder blush up there and see how that looks as well, even though I do love cream and liquid blushes. I'm really into the kind of smudging out your lip liner like that. I feel like I've tried that in the past, but it's never really stuck, but that looked really nice with that particular lip liner color. Of course, that's the one that's like non-drugstore. By the way, lip liner wise, for drugstore, Rimmel makes really nice retractable ones that I like. Milani makes ones that are wooden pencils, very similar to the MAC ones. NYX makes good ones too, so there are plenty of drugstore options. You really don't have to buy the MAC one. I want to make that clear. But all in all, I think those are probably the things I would try again. I would maybe try again with more of a mattified base, the highlighter, just drawing it on before I do blush or bronzer, because I do feel like it makes it look a lot more seamless and like it's a part of your skin. So that I'm interested to try again. And of course, her whole finger painting technique, I mean, that's something that I already do use my fingers for a lot, so I'll just continue to. It was also interesting to do the concealer after the blush and stuff. I don't know that I'll try that again. I hope this was fun for you guys to watch. If you want to watch my other two that I've already done, like I said, they're linked in the eye and down below. They were so much fun. I learned a lot from those as well. You know, there's something to be said watching a model do their makeup, because while obviously they're not doing their makeup all the time for when they're doing runway and red carpets, they are having their makeup done and they're asking questions and they're learning and they're seeing what makeup artists are doing and what different makeup artists. So it's always interesting to me what they glean from those experiences and what they use in their own life. By the way, that gloss, I don't think I talked about it. It's pretty comfortable. I have a feeling it's not the exact same formula. Like the Pat McGrath one did look like it caught the light even more. But honestly, if you know you're not going to use the gloss that often, you just kind of want a clear, but with a little bit of shimmer, it's really comfortable. It doesn't feel gritty like there is glitter in it, even though there's definitely a little bit of a gold glimmer to it. And I like it. I will probably use it again. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, I hope that you'll give it a thumbs up, subscribe, stick around. I upload 3 to 4 times a week, beauty and lifestyle here on my channel, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.